Great.
Is it good? Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. I have a laptop and the screen, so
Yeah. Mm.
when I see the laptop, I will see you directly, but if I see the screen, I will see somewhere else. So
Okay.
I'm gonna excuse myself to looking at both direction. Um, Before start the presentation, I would like to introduce myself again, briefly, especially about my research area. My thesis topic for my master's degree was the exhibitor's perception on the experiential values. So then I move on to the consumer behavior on the social media. So the dissertation topic was the consumers' participation in their experiences in social media. So back then
Okay.
it was less articles studying the Facebook. So I had a good opportunity to expand my research scope and had a good opportunity to publish articles in a good
Mhm.
journals.
Mhm.
And then once I got a job here at UCF, I expanded my research area related to consumer behaviors that's connecting to the brand experience and sustainability and the technology, consumer experiences, and psychologists. So these are four main research topics that I have been involved in, and also the in the within the square, these are the specific topics that I have been working on, and then the blue topics are the current projects that I have with my colleagues and the students. So moving on to today's topic, um, like the innovative technologies. Like I assume and I believe all Koreans are too like familiar with these technologies. How do we use it? How do we accept it? How we like modify to fit our new experiences. So in the US, the technology is a little bit behind than it could be a little bit behind than Korea, but the major technologies that's been used in the market are the AR, VR, and the display walls and this projected displays, the touchless technologies and immersive tactics and tools as well. So as we know, like the technologies have changed our way of collecting data, collecting information, interpreting it, and use the data information in many different ways. And companies do the same way. So we need to think about how we utilize these technologies and different tools to create the memorable experiences. Right? So when it comes to marketing, it's been product quality experiences, and now with the technologies, it's becoming digital technologies. I mean, digital experiences, and also it moves to the immersive, how you are immersed into the experiences. So everyone's are competing each other, how we can deliver better experiences with the technologies. So today I will introduce three different studies, but the first one is the ones published already, and the other two are the in progress studies. So the first one is the green gamification in the hotel context. So it's going to be the general research presentation. So it will be introduction, literature review, methodology, research and discussions and implications throughout all the studies. So first, when we designed this study, we thought about go green, and it becomes more important and significant matters in this current era. Um, when you think about go green, like what's your perception? Like, is it easy or you're familiar because we do recycling. Like Koreans do recycling and you're forced to do it. But in other countries, nobody forced to do it. It depends on your decision, right? So in the US, like for example, me, I just carry the water bottle, never try to carry the tumblers. But now with the weather changes, it really hit me. I need to do something. And before I thought like me doing something different, not that's not gonna impact the global climate change. But now I try to bring the tumblers everywhere. And then when I go to the grocery, I get like at least 3 to 5 plastic bags because here they put like every single thing in one individual pack. So I try to carry the eco bag when I go to grocery, but then I put it in the trunk and I forgot. When I walked into the grocery, I realized it's in my trunk. So I failed it, and then I get to talk the other like people, and they also do the same thing. They try to do it, but they forget it, and they don't want to be bothered by carrying those eco bags. So then we thought about going green could be boring, or for some people, it could be difficult. So how we can motivate these people to do green activities, especially when they're on vacation. When you go to hotels, when you go on a vacation, have you thought about doing something good for the environment?
Mm, yes,
Yeah.
all the time.
The, okay, that's good.
Mm.
Well, um, that's good. And if you're gonna do it, then it could be fun. If it's an entertaining, fun way, it could be a better. So we see fun element can be involved in the green activity and the socially good cause activities, then it can increase the customers' participation. So we brought in the gamification concept, which is the application of gamified elements into non-game context. So whether you realize or not, you maybe already experienced gamification. Can you think of one thing that you might be involved in?
Not me. I'm
I
concerned the environment and I'm concerned the climate change, but I don't like involved in any gamification because of that.
Right. Yeah. But for sure, I can assure you that you have been doing some gamified activities,
Uh,
and all Koreans do. Like
uh,
Koreans are masters in doing gamified activities because it's about getting points and getting some reward by spending your money onto something. When you like in Korea, if like you get points automatically by paying your phone bill. So like you collect some like rewards or some points to get benefit out of what you have paid for. It's all the part of gamification. So when we thought gamification can increase the participation rate toward the pro-environmental behaviors like the green activities, and also hotels can use this gamification to motivate the customers to participate their sustainability uh, practices. And if they are successful in those activities, then surely they're gonna increase the customer trust and build the long-term relationship. But we also identify the problems when you're on the vacation, like people tend to be comfortable. They want to enjoy their vacation. They may not like to be involved in some difficult work or difficult task to get the reward. So there's a research gap between the customer's awareness and their actual behavior or participation. And also in the gamification studies, it's all like theory-based or the conceptualization papers. there's less papers that's been testing empirical data for the gamification element.
Professor Kang, I have a
Yeah.
question about the gamification in tourism context
Yes.
and hospitality context,
Mhm.
like a hotel and amenity ancillary such a hospitality environment. They actually people get there and enjoy themselves and spending their time for their phone. So people usually not highly interested in concerning the ethical behavior, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes. Mhm.
like me, I sometimes I concern about the environmental nature and the human because of we are educated, we are morally educated in a school, and from the news medias they keep broadcasting about the climate change, and you should be careful of our future generation, something like that, right?
Mhm.
So it's a bit different perspective. The learning about the ethical behavior and pro-environmental concern and doing gaming is kind of a for fun and enjoyment.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a trade-off relationship. The environment is much more ethical and moral behavior and something, gotta be careful and be more kind
Mhm.
to the world. The game is more is a way beyond that. Be a good person. So how can we integrate those two, different motivation? One is
Mhm.
a pure, you know, explicit motivation, like a for fun, and
Mhm.
another is a pure implicit motivation for caring the environment.
Mhm.
That's kind of mutual a conflict of
Mhm.
two sides. So what do you
Mhm.
think about that?
Well, for this study, it's we focus on the gamification, and that's gonna bring in the fun part and also the ethical part for the environment as well. So the you will see later on, it's about the gamification app that hotels can design and provide to the customers. So as we continue this presentation, maybe you can find out
Mhm.
the answer, and
Mhm.
maybe I can tell you more about it.
Mhm.
So the gamification is based on these four are the key elements of gamification. The companies can give the point and also provide the badges for the social recognition and the reputation, and also collecting badges mean the level up on the activities. And then final as a reward, as a benefit, the customers can use the points for the rewards or monetary compensation. So those are the key elements that can bring in the fun part and also motivate the ethical behaviors. So this research is trying to figure out the role of gamification feature, the elements to promote customers' sustainability behaviors through by using the TPB, the theory of planned behaviors, and also try to examine the moderating role of guest familiarity with the green activities. So the why gamified experiences, and it has briefly explained. So there's a gap between I need to do this, but I don't want to be bothered when I'm on the vacation.
Mhm.
So the gamification can be the link between the awareness and the actual behaviors that can motivate them to pursue certain behaviors. So the gamification has the achievement and complexity of the task as the key concept.
Mm.
So we need to see how people decide whether they participate in sustainability activities. So we brought in the theory of planned behaviors and also use the achievement goal theory to see how the complexity of the task
Mhm.
that maybe not easier for them to participate the green activities and the achievement motivation. So these two can be identified as the predictors of the planned behaviors. So the achievement goal theory has two categories, learning orientation and performance orientation. Learning orientation is related to the complexity and the difficulties. So when people see a certain task is too complex or too difficult for them to achieve, they're less likely to try out. And then the performance orientation indicates the motivation. When people see themselves to complete certain tasks, then they're likely to participate and pursue those tasks, the task accomplishment. And the theory of planned behavior has three key concepts: attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavior control. The attitude is about the customer's favorable and unfavorable evaluation towards a certain object or behaviors, and the subjective norms are the perception of how others see me doing something good activities for the society. And the perceived behavior control is about the individual's ability or capability to use resources and confront the barriers when conducting certain behaviors. And in this study, we also looked at the customers' prior experiences in participating green activities, and that will influence different levels of achievement and the complexity perceptions. So this is the entire model. So as we explained, the achievement has two components, and task complexity and achievement motivations are identified as the predictors of the planned behaviors. But the task complexity, it tells the level of difficulties. So when it is high, then customers tend to show the unfavorable attitudes. And also they see those tasks are out of their control. So the hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 3 is proposed as negative relationship. And all the other relationships propose the positive relationship between the construct. And depending on the level of experience with the green practices, the customers will have different impact of task complexity and the achievement motivation on the planned behaviors. So those are the hypotheses. So it's the fun part now. So we target the potential hotel guest who's 18 plus years old, who's live in the United States and who must have had the experiences using gamification app and also stayed at the Green Hotel previously. So we collected 437 valid data and used for the data analysis. And before we provide the actual questionnaire, we also provided the information about what is the energy saving gamification. So they are asked to imagine they are checking in the hotel and they are guided to this gamification activities. So this will be the first page of what they get from the check-in when they check in. So the gamification, like you can sign in to your account and then you obtain the badges by participating the green activities and collecting the point, which is water drop here, they can use it for the reward. And these are the badges that they can achieve by continuously doing the green activities. So by signing in this program, the activity, they will get 10 water driplets right away. And then once you checking in, assuming you are staying 2 nights, 3 days, so you are forced to reuse towels for 3 days. So if you stay 2 nights, 3 days, you just need to reuse once more your towels, then you get the point. And also they are informed that there will be the hangers by the ventilation or the balcony so they can dry the towels and reuse it once more. And by doing that activity 3 times consecutively, they get the captain badge. And then 6 times more, they will get dinner. And 9 times more, they will be the planet saver. So these are the badges that motivates them to continue the activities. So we use the AMOS to analyze the data, and by seeing this demographic information, most of the participants were the younger adults who's actively in the economic activities, and also they are like millennials, most likely the Gen Zs and the millennials. And they are highly educated and they're more Caucasians. And out of our participants, 50% were never been to green hotels or they only been to green hotel once. And then the other 50% would be more experienced customers. So these are the moderating group. And the confirmatory factor analysis result showed satisfactory fit and also exceeded all the cut point values. And quickly going into the result part. So the task complexity had all supported the planned behaviors and also achievement as well. So the task complexity had reduced the attitude toward the gamification and the perceived behavior control toward the gamification, because when the complexity increases, the customer is less likely to participate in using this energy-saving gamification that involves the certain activities. And the interesting part is the perceived behavior control did not have significant impact on the revisit intention. And we had to thought about and interpret why that happened. So when people think they have control to use the gamification app and to participate these green practices, they don't need to come back to the hotel that promotes gamification. They can do by themselves whenever they want to do because they believe they have resources, they believe their ability to do those activities without help, without using those gamifications. So that could be one possibility that can explain this insignificancy. And about the moderating effect, regardless the level of regardless the past experience with the green practices, the customers in general, if they see high complexity of green activities, they will reduce attitude and perceived control. And also they will see doing these activities will have influence, will receive the social images from the customers, from the others that are close to them. And the achievement motivation had differences between the novice, the customers, between customers with less experience and the more experienced. So the more experienced customers have stronger motivation to participate the green activities and build positive attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived control.
Let me ask my question to this study at the previous
Yes.
slide. Okay. Very interesting result. You set the independent variable. One is task complexity, another is achievement motivations.
Mm-hmm.
So, which task complexity is kind of a hotel practice process, something like a kind of that. What kind of a task this variable telling us?
Oh, so
Booking. Mhm.
the task refers to the tower reuse task. So within the 3 days, like you are forced to reuse your towels. So in the hotel stay, if you use once, then you can easily call the housekeeping to bring the new towels. But in this context, the hotels provide a set of towers, and if you're willing to participate this gamification activity with the green practices, then you're forced to reuse the towers for 3 days. That's the task. So if they perceive it's too complex, then they will less likely do it. If they think they can do, I can reuse tower one more day, then I'll do the activities.
Okay. So that is, you set the task complexity as for usage behavior on towel reuse.
Towels.
Okay.
Yes.
And achievement motivation is kind of the goal orientation for achieving the score.
Yes.
And so that's the moderating variable only positive influence on motivation relationship, not the the reusable behavior, which is makes sense. And people who has highly motivations, they may further toward a positive toward the next behavior, subjective norms, and based on their past experience, because they already knows how to use this one and how to enjoy that the gamification. So well, it's very fantastic. You got outcomes and the result from this data analysis, which is a clear cut. One is not significant at all, and another one side is very much significant statistically, and is is going to be explained easily to perspective clearly about the one is task, another is motive.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And so for the theoretical implication, we see the possibility of incorporating these two theories, achievement goal theory and TPB, the theory of planned behavior, in the context of green energy practices. And future researchers can find more detailed, more like motivation that links to the planned behaviors. And then the prior experience has confirmed as well to influence the positive behaviors, positive planned behavior components as well, and task complexity and achievement motivation. It has been used some difficult task related context, but when when it comes to the green practices, it's not that difficult, but it's cumbersome, or it's like bothering activities. But then it shows it applies to these activities, and it can be the trigger to motivate the customers to conduct certain behaviors. So from the managerial point of view, the hotel app designers can measure what is the appropriate level for customers to happily participate to the activities, and also what are the motivations, not just the goal achievement, but it could be something, the enjoyment or entertaining part of the motivation can also influence the planned behavior activities. And then the limitation of this study is that we only targeted the people in the United States. But if we do it in Korea, it would be different. So different dynamics of customers will give us different results, and also that will further provide more knowledge toward the gamification and also the green activities. Yeah. And is there any other questions?
And students, if you have any questions. Okay, I have a question. You said the tower reusable and as a defined task complexity. Is
Yes.
there any additional task complexity for consumer side, like beyond tower usage, or like other,
Well,
reusable whatever?
yes, in United States, we don't recycle. Like at home, it's just like two part. One recycle part is only for the papers or hard boxes, cans, and bottles, and everything else goes to one trash. And when we go to hotel or any resort, any luxury hotels, there's one trash bin. We throw everything there and put it out there. So the recycling or the separation of the trash will be a huge challenge to the Americans. So it could be another like challenge part, and bring in like other like insights onto the complexity part.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That means like in Korea, we are anyway. When we throw away our trash, we put the separate cans and garbage ton, and so, which means we are unconsciously we are trained,
Yes.
and unconsciously we are aware of that the environmental behavior. So the kind of a policy enforcing Korean people save the world, or kind of a thinking, okay, when I throw away the reusable, vinyl or cans, that is giving me the kind of a consciousness or knowledge, or pro-environmental concept on that. So probably Korea's willing to behavior more pro-environment act rather than Americans, because Americans, what you explained, like people just throw away that without the segregation, or throw away one garbage cans. That means they don't need to concern about the environment stuff. They don't need to angry at something like the too much cans, too much garbage, too much stuff. So definitely is I assume that there is a huge gap between the environment concept if
Yeah.
the behavior is so different. and
Yes. And
policy is
also
different.
the behaviors are different
Mm,
depending on which state you
mhm,
live in. So
mm,
more like modernized states like the West Coast or East Coast, they do much better job than the other states in the
mhm,
Midwest or the
mm,
South.
mhm,
So it takes like more than 10 years
mhm,
for one trend to spread across the country. So
mhm,
it's slowly coming,
mhm,
but so far I don't see many differences. But like
mhm,
individual people, when I meet at the conference, we talk about this topic, then
mhm,
there are people concerned about the environment, but
mhm,
not like general public.
mhm. Thank you.
Okay. And then the next study is in progress with one of
Mhm,
my students from Caribbean area. So she brought this topic to help her region and in the industry. So the title is tentative for now. That does culture matters in forming guest acceptance of service robots, the case of Caribbean hotels. So to give you a background, we're the Caribbean islands. It's between North America and the South America. So it's right below Florida, right above Mexico. So in that area, there are like 32 islands and approximately 2,000 hotels in that region. And these hotel services are known for like warming, attentive, personalized services because of the Caribbean culture. After the pandemic, more than 50% of tourists in that region are from the US, followed by Europeans and the Canadians. And regardless their travel purposes, the islands are categorized into the family destination or the business destinations. And out of all these destinations, you probably heard the top islands that's listed right above side, Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, Cancun, Bahama, and Jamaica. So those are the top destination um, islands, and also those are the want to be there islands. So there's a saying, travelers have returned from the pandemic, but hotel workers have not. And that's creating unexpected challenges for the industry. And it's over in general. But specifically for the Caribbeans, they are lack of labors to deliver the quality services. And the Caribbean travel is all about good service, and you getting you have like interactions with the employees, and pre people prepare the tips when they receive good service. They are willing to provide more tips because that's the area that you show your appreciation for the services. And people are tend to be more generous when they travel those area. So, but because of those unexpected challenges, the like Caribbean hospitality industry has begun to think, what about we implement the service robots into our area? Will that be successful? Will the customers perceive it's unique and it's the service?
mm,
So this type of questions are aligning with the question when we have the self-service technology,
mm,
would it be considered as the luxury service if the self-service technology is in the luxury hotel, right?
mhm,
So it's placing in the same concept and same line. But why robots? Because it's efficient for 24 hours, 7 days, and it's going to reduce the labor cost, and it's safe for contactless services. But is it really increase customer experiences? So these are two actual examples that a Loft Hotel by Marriott uses for the butler services in their property, and also the Hilton uses this called Connie robots for the concierge services. And when you see these service robots in Korea or in Japan, in United States, it's not occult. It could be, oh, that's a service robot. So we often see these reactions. And the people, depending on the type of customers, they see the service robots cold, mechanical, or cool. When it's MG or the millennial generation, they tend to think service robots are cool, but the old generations could be cold and mechanical. So depending on the customer groups. But like I said, the Caribbean island, it's known for the human-centered services. So the cultural familiarity of that customers have in their mind will likely to influence the acceptance of the robot services in that reason, because it's not like the developed countries where seeing service robots are natural. When you go to Caribbean island, you expect like human interaction with the employees, and you see uh, service robots that might be awkward. So that was the major reason that the study has begun. So the research question would be how the customers process the service robot interaction in the Caribbean hotels, and how the cultural familiarity impact the evaluation of the service robot's features. So we try to investigate the relationship between the cognitive aspect and emotions and acceptance level, and also see the differences between the cognitive features on the performance expectancy. So the challenges that Caribbean industry has faced is the guest acceptance. Like I said, is it really what guests expect to receive when they arrive? And from the hotel side, even though it's going to reduce the labor cost, it is still a huge investment to um, implement service robots, and there will be maintenance costs. And what if the technology or robots are malfunctioning? Then how does staff will involve in that service stack? So these are all challenges they face, but they see it's going to be beneficial for the customer experiences and the efficacy. So
Before we going forward, I have a question about this robot service and
yes.
the automation service.
Mhm,
As we are all well knowledge of how the world is now changing because of AI, because of a
mhm,
robot, and
mhm.
AI embedded in the robot. So
Yes.
robots no longer just the automatic mechanical processing, but is human-like conversation, human-like friendship,
Mhm,
and something very similar with the human staff.
mhm,
In that case, like you said, operational efficiency and 24/7 availability and enhance the guest experience. So I think which is very legitimate and right. Uh, uh, we can be able to achieve those kind of benefit when we using the robot and more developed AI robot soon
mhm,
in the future.
mhm,
If that is true, I think when you mentioned the task complexity, there is something task very simple, obvious, and very routine service,
mhm,
very complex to service, very
mhm,
creative service. So when we think about a company or a organization, there is a certain transactional level and the operational level and the social level and the strategic level and the CEO level. So they're stepping and the types of task characteristic is somewhat different by the stepping by the robot. So in that case, I think okay, there's simply functional service and operational service or social service. Like a social is treat their customers just like a human staff, human beings. So I think might we might consider that each types of the task types and how AI or robot fit in the task or the level. So so far, a lot of the researchers they are only considering the benefit of or challenge of the robot in overall in the context of a hotel or restaurant, whatever. But I think we are highly time to think more in detail and specifically from the bottom, the transaction level and the operation level, and then social level and the strategic level, how the so smart intelligence AI and the robot can improve our service. What do you think about that?
Um, uh, the availability of the information and the technology and the tools are there. Like as an individual, we have access to use all these tools and technologies. But when it comes to the industry, it's still at the base level. So I'm not sure about how those in Korea, but like here, like only like Asian restaurants, they have these robots, and the robots are more look like a mechanical. It's not even like one of the examples in Japan, like humanoid robot. It's all like machine-like robots. It delivers items. It delivers the like drink at the restaurants or towers at the hotel and those levels. And like the Hilton Hotel, there is robot, but it's also robot. It's not like humanoid. So then it brings to the communication and interaction with the customers and comfortableness and the convenience and the likability of the robots, those service robots are different depending on the customers. So it's hard to say. I mean, it is hard to like generalize how we see and perceive these service robots yet. But the industry here try to use it and try to see what are the benefits out of it because of it's still the beginning stage, and even though it says it's efficient, it will reduce the cost, and employees that have fear about they're gonna lose their job, but the industry will say we will replace your position to something else that you can help. You can actually interact with the customers. The simple jobs can be done by the robots, but there's a like trend going on, but it's not yet that prosperity.
Currently, I reviewed a lot of the papers from TM and ATR and the JTR, IJHM, and a lot of the researchers they are highly interested in anthropomorphism on AI and the robot, which means if they are keen on that topic, anthropomorphism means the robot should be more enhanced to human friendly, that like a human like conversation and a human like face and human like something what emotional touch.
Mhm.
That case uh, probably the industry should be classify the each different type of task from the bottom to the up to the level in the middle and to the high level. So that's the topic and that's the characteristic of the task would be very different from like a mechanical processing and the social
Yes.
processing and the strategic processing, like a front
Yeah.
desk. And these days, it's just you're seeing that the robot they speaking fluently language with German language, Chinese language, whatever language, depending on the will request because of AI. So
Yeah.
AI can do play human-like conversation very much fully, and people no longer concerned about the language barrier anymore. That means we will set the robot in front desk with the robot AI embeddedness. Then people we think there is feel more comfortable or feel more uncomfortable. There is a social interaction
Yes.
rather than just we send the errand the robot picking the cups and deliver to the what menu to whatever. In that case, I think is a functional service and operational service and social services should be different approach, especially
Yes.
emotional approach and the cognitive approach. So
Yes.
like
Yeah.
a guest experience, probably emotional experience, a touch, operational efficiency and 7 day of 24 hours availability, that can be
The function.
performance, operational performance.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking these days.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the studies, rather than using the existing model and expanding the model, incorporating with other variables, I think a qualitative study needs to be done more in depth so we can clearly see how people process the service experiences and also like so what they feel about it. So is that like positive or negative and
Mm,
they like willing to accept the services and it match with the level of like accommodation they are into.
mm,
So I think it has more broad scope to for researchers to investigate.
mm. Okay. Mm,
So the Caribbean hospitality is more like active and vibe. So the travelers coming to this region are expecting these experiences. So this study is to see the both aspects of cognitive evaluation and affective evaluation of the service robots and see if the customers are willing to accept the service robots in that region. So the culture part is more important because it's not it's a different service type from what the customers are expect to get from the regions. So the utility is the usefulness of the services, and it's focusing more about the cognitive functions, and the coolness is about the outstanding and innovative um, perceptions when they see the robots. So if they don't see mundane or like machine-like features and interfaces, they will not feel it's cool to have. So the autonomy is the independency. The robots can perform the task without human interventions. And the courtesy is about the respect and the friendliness when they interact with the customers, and interactivity is about the active engagement whether the service robots will uh, continue the pleasant conversation with the customers. And the performance expectancy is about the degree to which individuals believe that service robots will uh, perform what is expected. So high performance expectancy means that robots will perform the specific task effectively, and the people can rely on the service robots. And affection is the emotions, how the customers perceive the robot services, either positively or negatively. And the negative emotions involve anxiety, fears of using the service robot, or I don't want to use, and I don't want to learn how to use those things. And connection is the actions. So based on the evaluation, the emotional part and the cognitive part, will the customers accept the service robot as the part of the hospitality service? And the reason we use CAC, the cognition affection connection model, is to involve the emotional part of the customer evaluations. The cultural familiarity is about the comfort level or the recognition of certain cultures. So we have been talking about how the Caribbean culture it should be. So when they know Caribbean culture should be human-centered, how that impact the service robust evaluation when it comes to the service delivery and the interaction with the customers. So this is the model. So we propose all the positive relationship between the construct and about the cultural familiarity. If the travelers are familiar with the Caribbean culture, they're less likely to expect the positive performance expectancy. But if they're not very familiar with Caribbean culture, they will see these service robots are part of the service process, and they will expect the performances correctly delivered, correctly done by the service robot. So again, we invited people from the United States who live and 18 years old or older, and they should have resort experiences. And before begin the survey, we again provided what is the service robots in the Caribbean regions. And we generated the image of robot services in Caribbean hotels, and this is what they what they are exposed. So we tend to create the robot images that's machine-like, not like humanoid, because it's more popular format here, and it's much cheaper or cost-effective than the humanoid robot services, and that's more feasible to the area. So they are introduced that they are checking in one of the Caribbean hotels, and they see when they checking in, they have opportunity to checking in with the human employees or checking in with the robots, and kids in the lobby area interacting with the robots, and the robots also can carry the luggages to the guest rooms. And there are more similar pictures that are provided to the participants. So in our participants, the females were more than the male. And again, the younger generations were the majority of our participants. And we asked if they have been to Caribbean area, and then 50% of our participants have been to the Caribbean, and the other 50 were never been to the Caribbean area. And out of people who's been to Caribbean, like most of them were once or twice, and the others are the multiple the repeating visitors. And then we also asked if participants had experience with the service robots, and 60%, 65% had experience with the service robots, and out of them, 50% were having more experience with the service robots. So the CFA result also showed satisfactory fit and exceeded all the cut points. And these are the results. So this result shows only utility and coolness had a significant impact performance expectancy, and all the autonomy, courtesy, interaction did not have significant influence on the performance expectancy, which means people are like customers can rely on its usefulness and the coolness image of the robot services, and the robots will perform the expected services. But when it comes to like independency, people still skeptical about how it's going to deliver the service in time or in a proper manner. And also, is it going to really communicate what I need? So those aspects were still skeptical, and they do not expect the robots will perform the services as expected.
Here's my
So,
question for this model. Like
yes.
you adopted the theory, cognitive and affective and cognitive.
Yeah.
That is pretty much a linear. One is
Yes.
cognitive, affective, and cognitive.
Yes.
But the theory, even though the theory tell us the linearity, well, however, this coolness and courtesy, and that should be directly to effective performance or effective the engagement.
Emotions.
Okay, so even though the theory is tell us the linearity, but we can set this one is to here. So set to performance expectancy, and then effective this part is to come here. That
Yeah.
is this one is can be closely related to the cognitive dimensions. But however, coolest courtesy is more like emotional side. That means this one is going to be here to effective. So why don't you think about these two, the cognitive affective in the parallel, and then they engage from that independent variable, different types, utility, automation, interaction, and the coolest courtesy, that is in another part. Then we may find out different perspective of your research. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that was part of the study's limitation.
Okay.
So because we used this theory, it serialized the steps of the evaluation part. So
Okay.
it was actually part of our
Okay. Understood.
limitation and the suggestion for the future study. And about the coolness,
Mm,
it's measuring something related to its functional aspect. So it's
mm.
not really about how it features, how it looks cool,
Ah.
the robot service is. So it linked to the performance expectancy. But but still it could be lead to another direction. Yeah. Okay. And so the theoretical implication part, like we mentioned, this model uses the CAC model that shows the serial steps. So but it has not been used in the technology like context. So more study, more like expanded model based on the CAC can be done in this context. And we use the cultural familiarity as the focal aspect of the model. So this cultural parts can be also expanded in different regions of the country or different countries. So the outputs can be different. But for the Caribbean regions, the human touch part and like functional part can be separated, and robots can take place for the functional part, and human-centered services can be still used, can be still performed by the employees, and the cultural familiarity will have some impact on that part. So the limitation was only we use the US participants, people from different regions, or people travel through cruise or Airbnb can see the differences in using the service robots. And the CAC model can be incorporated with other technology acceptance models that can give like further insight into the customer's acceptance. And
Okay, well, students, it's open up question for Professor Kang. Feel free to ask.
I think Dr. Gu had a wonderful questions, so they may have solved their questions. Okay. Then, yeah.
Okay.
Did I move? Okay, yeah. And then the third one is the immersive digital experiences. So it's also in progress with students. This figure shows the different types of immersive experiences and different types of digital exhibitions that's on the market in the past like 5 years. So it is categorized based on the level of technology and the participations. So the category 1 is more about the outdoor activities with the immersive technologies and also part of the immersive exhibitions. So it requires the high technology, but it does not require high participation. As long as people walk through the environment and they look at the displays or the digital content from the distance, they are experience those contents, then it's falling into this category. And this is the most fast growing segment within the immersive digital experiences. And category 3 is the immersive pop-up experiences. So this specific market targets customers who's looking for the shareable social media content. So the company or the organization do not need to use high technology, but they are using technologies enough to get the customer's attention. And category 2 is the immersive excursion and the Arcadia games. So after pandemic, people are looking for more physical involvement activities. So these businesses has grown with these family target groups. And they are actively involved in the activities and the games and the like gamification, gamified activities as well. And the category 4 is the immersive family entertaining centers. And as you can see, the photo look like the Kizania. So the parents bringing the kids to the environment where they can where they can get the hands-on experiences. And the young generation, the Z generations, tend to go to escape room game facilities. They can enjoy their games and interact with their peers. So those businesses require low technology but actively involving guests. So all these different immersive experiences has grown much over the 5 years. So since 2019, it grown like more than 20%. So right now it reached 4 billion annual revenue. So innovative technology can shape how the business attract the customers and how they can engage customers in certain behaviors or certain activities. So using these technologies, the industry developed different themes and different categories of unique activities. So the Joseph Pine said the immersive experience has been there long, but now it's with more competition and with more technology, the creators need to be more creative, like innovative, and more alert with the change of customer behaviors. So this study questions like what type of immersive experiences influence the image generation and their behaviors, and what if locals versus the travelers have different impact on the attitude in experiencing those exhibitions. So the study purpose is to examine those relationships. So there are not much literature that's defining the immersive digital experiences. So immersive experience is the state where individuals interact with sensory cues. And the digital exhibition is that the people experience virtual content within physical spaces. So the key here into concept is the sensory cues and the physical spaces. It's not happening online, but the customers experience content in a specific location. So the definition of immersive digital experience in this context is the combination of this technology within the physical exhibitions through the multisensory cues and the experiences. And we categorized existing immersive exhibitions, and there were 5 different categories. The Monet art exhibitions or the Van Gogh exhibitions are falling into the art and the artist theme, and the science and technology are like education part. So the audiences use technologies to learn about specific topics they are interested in. And the fantasy and fictions are the Harry Potters or the Jurassic themed exhibitions where audiences intend to feel the reality of fantasies and the fictions. So they intend to feel reality when it's not real. And the cultural historical part exhibitions are more likely education experience. They get educated with the digital contents and immersed in the storylines based on the fact. And the nature exhibitions are more likely the flowers or sunsets where people get to relax and enjoy the nature in the physical area. So this study will use the experience economy to see what experiences the customers prefer in the digital exhibitions. So the entertainment, education, aesthetic, escapism are the most familiar experience we get from all those experience research. And when it comes to immersive experience, the companies try to begin with absorption where audiences can walk or immerse with the environment, but they do not really need to physically involve the stage. And then the company moved to immersion, where the customers will need to surrounded by the environment and engage with the content and physically involved in the activities. So the entertainment experiences are like this. The outer other world is one of the key examples that people use VR and doing games and activities and socially engage with their friends within certain places. And the aesthetic is more likely the art and the artist themes. So people will enjoy the surrounding environment and the background music and colors. And educational experience is where people go to the exhibitions and learn about the specific topics they're interested. And the escapism experience lead customers to experience something new so they feel like they are away from their daily life. The mental imagery is the working memory where people see and experience digital content and make their own images about the content. And this can be explained by vividness, quantity, and the balance. Vividness is about clarity and clear image of the content, and the quantity is how many contents are projected or shown to the audiences. And the balance is the emotional state associated with these experiences. And the attitude is about the tendency toward favor or unfavor, disfavor toward an object. And the behavior intention is what the person is intent to do. So in this study, it could be a combination of the willingness to revisit and the word of mouth. The local versus travelers. So we thought we had a question. Um, do you go to certain destination because of the show, or you go to the show because that's there where I am? So, like, if they're local and travelers, who are more willing to go was our question, because the locals have more access to the reliable information from the friends and families, and also they've been exposed to those exhibition promotions more often than the travelers. So we assume that locals have more positive perception toward these shows. So this is our model. And the locals versus travelers are came into the last part, what kind of attitude they have, and then that will influence the behavior intentions. We also distribute our survey to the people who's been to the immersive digital exhibitions, and we identified what type of exhibitions they have been to and what type of technology they think they are like exposed to. So in the result, again, the majorities are the young generations, and they are all highly educated. And we conducted the second order confirmatory factor analysis, and it showed the vividness that has the most stronger share for the mental imagery, which means the vivid, like clear and distinctive image can influence the way people regenerate the image of the content. So here's another surprising part. the escapism was not significant in generating mental imagery. In most of the cases, like immersive experience, people are really immersed into those experiences. They're supposed to feel like I am not in my world, I'm in different place. But then in this study showed it's not, the people did not experience escapism. So why? Right? So then I think my experiences, like from last year, I still can tell it was fun, entertaining, and I learned about the content. Even though it's a small like information, I learned about new things and the surroundings and how I was like, wow, this is new. Wow, this is amazing. But when it comes to escapism, I can tell it could be the overcrowdedness or the limited time that's allowed for me to experience because there are lots of people. Imagine this is like growing sector and popular shows. People are coming. So even though you want to experience more, there are people like come and go, and you cannot like be immersed 100%. And at the last stage, I see people are sitting down and looking at the display and having time. And I wish I could do, but then there was limited time and I had to leave. So I didn't feel escaping my world. So it could be the possible reason, the overcrowdedness or limited ability to enjoy those shows can lead these outcomes. And the other two part, like entertainment and education, are the observing stage. And by looking at our demographic, when we asked like what type of exhibition you have been to, it was like 60% was the Monet and the the Van Gogh art exhibitions. So that tells the people will just look at the displays and walk through the environment, and they observing the content and the engage with the environment and the sound, but then they're not really into like I'm in a different world. And that's also because of that, because the participants answered based on their experiences, and this and who's been to the art exhibition, aesthetic experience obviously become the strongest impact on the mental imagery. And local versus travelers, the locals have more positive attitude toward these exhibitions, and they are likely to revisit these exhibitions if they have another one in the area. Because travelers, they tend to go if the exhibition happens to be there, but the results can be interpreted that travelers are less likely to go a destination because of that show. So if, as a marketer, if you want to lead the successful exhibition, then you could target the local first, and then you get the word out there. And when the travelers are in the region, they will see, when they interact with locals, they will get more reliable resources, and they see the promotions, advertisement, they're willing to go more. So the marketing perspective, the resident could be the target first, and then the travelers. So our study showed a little different outcome than the previous studies. Like previous studies highlighted the education and entertainment strong that can influence the individual's imagination of the contents. But in this study, it's entertainment and aesthetic, and it's mainly because of the what type of exhibitions they've been to. So the study can be done in different types of exhibitions, and maybe the future researchers can compare what experiences strongly influence the mental imagery, and also that's going to influence the emotions or attitudes, the psychological part. And also, like I mentioned before, the qualitative study can be done focusing on these areas and also other experiences, because the studies have been done focusing on these four elements of the experiences. But with the new technology and this new environment, customers, the audiences may have experienced something else. So that could be another key point conducting the similar studies in different way. And lower mental imagery is about the vividness. So when it comes to the practical and theoretical implication, the quality of the image needs to be considered and factored in the research model. And from the managerial point, when when the show designer knows the focal concept of the exhibition, then they can improve one specific aspect of the experience. Let's say if it's like historical and like science exhibitions, then the designers can focus on the educational experience along with the other experiences. So the marketers can determine the focal experience that they need to improve and deliver to the customers at the most. And then for the holistic experience, they can consider other factors. So the limitation of this study is that we try to examine the overall digital exhibitions, but it came out most likely the art show. And we see that there are more popularity in that sector. So studying in different exhibition categories will result in different outcomes. And we think instead of local and residents, we think the knowledge level can influence what experience the customers will receive be different. So whether they are informed before the show or they do not have any information about the show and experience right away will make the differences in what experience is more important to them. Okay, so this is
Okay, well,
about this study.
well, good job. Great work. And based on that, the Fine and Gilmore's experience economy dimensions, and which you apply for that imagery aesthetic experience. Um, did you use that the participant using the Oculus kind of a device, or just attending uh, in a kind of conference room and watching that the exhibition? Which one?
So it so we asked. So it depends on like what exhibitions they have been to.
Uh,
So, but then the majority were majority went to the Monet and Van Gogh's exhibition,
uh,
where you walk through the contents, the themed rooms, and watch the projected wall
mhm,
with surrounded music.
mhm,
And then the other shows that they have been to, like Harry Potter or the Jurassic Park, they use AR and VR,
mhm,
but they're not the majority of this group.
mhm,
So that's why um, reconducting this study with different themes of the exhibitions where it used different technologies will
Mhm.
have different outcomes and like better interpretation
Mhm.
of what they expect to experience.
You did set the residents and versus travelers
Hmm.
into your research model.
Yeah.
And why do you think it need uh, for moderators between two different users into your model?
Um, well, it just based on simple curiosity, like who goes more to this exhibition? And by using this exhibition, can we promote the destination
Mhm.
to bring in more people to travel? Or if not, then how the show can be like successful? So which one we need to target?
Mhm.
The industry needs to target. It was the basic information. So the literature say the residents also need to have a place to like hang out with their friends and families. So for like social gathering, they need a new space.
Mhm.
So the distance wise, it's close to them and they don't need to travel. So we wanted to try out if that
Mhm.
impacts the attitude going toward to these exhibitions.
Can you go back to the your research model again? That
Mhm.
okay, this one.
Yeah.
Like what when you mentioned that we need to get a curiosity about this mental imagery experience
Mhm.
from the traveler perspective and residents perspective. And travelers, their expectation and fantasy toward this kind of a event and exhibition is quite different from residents they have. Residents probably they would go to those kind of exhibition show for their leisure performance
Mhm. Yeah.
or
Mhm.
just a quality of life in the town and enjoying some, uh, the kind of a leisure activity. And
Mhm.
travelers, they may look around travel purpose. Okay, it's much more escapism. Okay, I'm come to this town from Seoul or other state out of states. That means probably their state of mind quite different fantasy or expectation or escapism. Did you test your local and the travelers uh, toward that experience economy independent variable rather than that that position, attitude, and behavior?
Um, I I don't think we did, but it's a
Uh,
good suggestion. So it's a
okay,
work in progress. So I will test it and
okay,
update maybe. Yeah,
okay,
but the initial question was the intention to focus on the intention to visit. So we tested it there. But yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
So like anyway, the people like travelers, they are pursuing the residential activity,
Hmm.
and then usually in town the the place like this kind of place, not the sightseeing place. This kind of place is usually designed for their citizens who uh, who consuming their leisure activity in town. So people who like or lovely to go the museum and then the digital exhibition, and there is their own leisure activity in everyday life. Then probably they look forward to more entertainment or education for their kids, which
Hmm.
is from local side. The traveler side probably rather than education, they may come to aesthetic point or escapism point. So we can argue that like travelers, they are following that the locals environment and the locals, preference. Uh, because the place is already famous for locals, and then travelers catch up their locals what they have done in the town. So I should go there. Uh,
Mhm.
so that means probably how can we make both sides satisfied uh, at the same time? The using of resource. Uh, this is a civil resource for cultural experience in town for traveler, not the travelers, for locals. So citizens and residents pretty much enjoy their, local life in this kind of stuff, and this is belonging to actually citizens' resource and resource stuff. Actually, travelers, once they got in this kind of a environment that is a sharing resource between travelers and locals, that
Mm.
is sometimes if too much travelers there and locals hate that. That is the over
That's
tourism.
true. Yeah, that's true.
So I guess the experience economy is quite a good theory and research framework. But if you collect data from both sides, the local and travelers,
Mhm.
you may look into much intrigue argument, how the people think about resource sharing with travelers or resource, you know, uh, overlapping issue.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, so that there's just 2 cents, my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's also an interesting point because it's simply divided into two sectors, but like how they like share the information about the experiences
Mhm,
will definitely have differences
mhm,
in like in their preferences and
mhm,
which one they would like to go to.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Mhm.
Then we can make a research practical implication like, okay, locals, they more likely focus on the entertainment education.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
means we can make a creative program for locals rather than
Mhm.
travelers. Once
Mhm.
travelers make more focus on the aesthetic point or escapism, that means we can make extra or special, curriculum or program for tourists to
Mhm.
get more escapism experience
Mhm.
uh, from the same, uh, the venue or programs.
Mhm.
Is so
Yes.
we can find out different perspective we can achieve from one same, the venue or there is a resource. So there's a point of view different, but anyway,
Mhm.
there's implication. Uh,
Mhm. Well, thank you for the suggestion. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Students, any questions, comment? Mhm. Yeah, our
Okay.
students, as you know, you Korean, I'm Korean, everybody Korean. They're uh,
Yeah.
speak less or
Well, I think
that.
it's the same to the American students in these days too.
Oh, really?
They're less, yeah, they're less talkable than
Oh,
compared to like decades. Yeah,
oh, I see. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
interesting. Hmm.
Mm, yeah.
Hmm.
So I had like questions about like going forward. Like we had like the research related to the digital technology. It's
Hmm.
going like everywhere.
Hmm.
So the immersive and robots and all
Hmm.
other gamification or
Hmm.
like the AI. So what could be a possible potential research topic going
Hmm.
forward when it
Hmm.
comes to the experience?
Hmm.
What other like experiences related to the hospitality and tourism you can think of for future research?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
I had a like one interesting
Hmm.
topic. that might be becoming one of the mainstream, or that might not be. So
Mhm.
considering all the happenings with the technology, like
Mhm.
what else can you see the area that you can examine the
Mhm.
experience?
Mhm.
Have you thought
Mm,
about it?
um, I'm currently I've been to the Apple store,
Mhm,
and I grabbed uh, the the Vision Pro from Apple's company,
mhm,
and which is a fantastic. Wow, so great, so vividness, and so aesthetics, so much.
mhm,
The the device connecting to another device like the smartphone and
mhm,
Vision Pro and Apple, watching. And
mhm,
so sooner or later, the Apple environment, they are connecting the device uh, one by one to get more experience, get more immersive, get more, uh, the sensory appealing.
mhm,
Uh, and also, as you know, the Korea is becoming more and more making the signage and this kind of digital museum, and which is appealing more potential visitors and travelers and local people. So
mhm,
it's a very positive side and positive impact for
mhm,
those two uh, different users, travelers and locals.
mhm,
Things is how how the point is how that device like a Vision Pro is uh, five 5,000 5,000 US dollar. It's quite
Oh,
expensive. It's
mhm,
so expensive. So and
yeah.
still the heavy. Still a lot of the
Mhm,
gears and the stuff have to be moderating handled.
mhm,
So in this case, I think uh, if we not overcome that device uh, comfortableness or convenience,
mhm,
uh, the metaverse world or this kind of the digital experience is way beyond. But
mhm,
two-dimensional exhibition like
mhm,
your research topics is we got to the museum, and if the museum provide well organized contents
mhm,
by digital contents, and the people more aesthetic and feel more wow, uh, the real physical the items plus digital items, and which is giving more aesthetic point, giving more immersive point. That's
mhm,
I I think that is kind of an additional uh, aspect
mhm,
of physical items. So once like the museums provide a dual mode to uh, the visitors at the same time simultaneously, and the probably visitors would be more uh, comfortable and satisfied with the
mhm,
full scale, digital environment and the physical touches
mhm,
is kind of skin touches and
mhm,
kind of you know eyesight touches.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I think it's this kind of the museums and the other exhibition site,
mhm,
they will provide dual mode concurrently. One is
mhm,
for physical, another is for distance,
mhm,
and then connecting to the right away to your smartphone
mhm.
or your glasses. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I see like those devices used in like museums.
mm,
And I think the matter is the price, how it
Mm-hmm.
can be like commercialized for the general public because it's
Mm-hmm.
too expensive. And even for the industry, it's high investment. It
Mm-hmm.
requires high investment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. So like depending on like different devices or different tools that gives a different experiences. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the experience itself needs to be further developed and investigated depending on the context.
Mm-hmm.
Because like currently we're using the existing ones.
Mm-hmm.
So more study needs to be done from the scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
like a digital museum or digital environment is can be a main outlet or can be an
Hmm.
alternative outlet for
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
the experience. For
Yes.
example, like the Van Gogh or the real, the painting
Hmm.
is located in New York City
Yes.
and located
Hmm.
in the Paris. We cannot
Hmm.
accessible to that kind of a real
Hmm.
one from a
Hmm.
distance. And then people, if we enjoy that digital Van Gogh contents in Seoul, that is inspiring me to go physical
Cool.
visit
Hmm.
in New York and in Paris later.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
is kind of physical and digital is engaged together. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's leading more engaging physical or physical leading more,
Hmm.
digital.
Hmm.
So digital is a more full-scale explanation and education and aesthetic appealing to the users.
Hmm.
And however, people after once they education, once they uh, uh, and the knowledge is, then may people want to see real one.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's a
Hmm.
reinvigoration to the physical
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
inspiring to physical destination. So
Hmm.
uh, uh, in the future is we have never returned to the back to the past. The future direction with the more developing the digital gears, device
Hmm.
connections, interactions, but
Hmm.
we have to overcome something constraint device or
Hmm.
host or something
Hmm.
mobile device sort of things.
Hmm.
And I guess the research model, like when you shown to us, is kind of a founding step for the next stage, the
Hmm.
research.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Okay.
So
Mhm.
you you're in the Florida, and okay,
Yes.
go ahead, Gus, cut off, Shani.
Uh,
What?
Thank you, Professor Kang, for this wonderful lecture. So I'm in my first semester, and currently I'm in the middle of research proposal. So
Hmm.
right now I am analyzing in sustainable event management, like eco
Hmm.
events
Hmm.
and the event production. So my question is how we can apply gamification concept for our event attendees or the host, perhaps.
To what kind of attendee?
It could be anyone. So everybody goes to events.
Oh, okay. Hmm. So the gamification part can be so I think you need to look at like what type of task that you want the attendees to participate, and then I think it's more important to see the type of task. So going further, based on my research, like what type of task will lead to the motivation to continue those green activities. So even though that's there, if the task, like in the event area, of course, the recycling or carrying tumblers or reusing the eco bags during the exhibition days, that can be the easy task, and then you can find the like difficult task. So like what types of tasks the attendees are willing to participate, like regardless, and then you can see the reward part, like if the easy task can be more motivating with the reward, or the difficult task is motivating more the attendees participation. So I think that could be interesting thing. Like the event side, a lot of things can happen. So the categorizing the green activity task can actually give the practical implication more, and add up more knowledge toward the categorization of the environmental activities that can be done on the event side.
Thank you,
Okay,
Professor.
well, any other questions? Wow. Okay, thank you very much,
Okay.
Professor Kang.
Thank you. Mhm.
Are you visiting Seoul, Korea soon?
Yes. Yeah.
When?
I will be arrived there June 17, and I actually go to Tosok and the
Okay,
AFTA
good.
conference.
Okay,
So
very
looking
good.
forward to meeting you.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your
Mhm.
lecture today, and a very quite
Yeah.
interesting paper you have written and published. And also, I learned a lot from your presentation, and I look forward to see you in Gyeongju. And
Yeah.
also, I wish you to help me to managing the Journal of Smart Tourism and
Yeah.
paper submission
Okay.
and the citation as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
definitely,
for me,
it's a great, your research publication is gonna be helpful to,
yeah, sure.
set up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'm planning on to that one too.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Okay. One
thank
last
you.
comment for our students.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I am willing to help. And also, nice to meeting you. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I
Okay.
look forward to collaboration with
Yeah.
you someday.
Alrighty. Thank you. Me too. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Students, thank you. Look forward to see you next week.